Welcome everybody. My name is Santos Morales. I do apologize again for the tardiness, but we'll get to this lesson today, and hopefully you'll get some value out of tonight's webinar, which is marketing back to basics. One of the things that I like to remind everyone is about when we talk about marketing, the marketing is just a tool that we can use to really get the word out about the products or services that we have to sell. But there is so much more, right? There is so much more when it comes to that product or service. And there's the delivery, there's the message, there's the actual quality of the product, but all of that actually starts with a good marketing campaign. So I like us to really look at today what is marketing, talk a little bit about what that marketing mix should look like, what is the role of marketing for businesses, what is the effect that marketing has, what is branding, and really a little bit about some of the multimedia that you can use as a small business to help promote your products or services. So one of the things that you should know is marketing is everything. From the moment that you begin to speak about the business that you're in or the business that you're getting ready to start, marketing has begun. So this is a function that basically it goes along with the owner, right? So a lot of entrepreneurs, you have to know that you and the business are the same. So everything that you do as a business owner reflects on your business. So marketing, some definitions. The American Marketing Association defines marketing as the activity or set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. That's like the basic definition. There is this guy called J. Conrad Levinson, who is a guru, and he's the acclaimed author of the book Guerrilla Marketing. And he says marketing is everything that you do to promote your business from the moment that you conceive it to the point at which customers begin to buy your product or services and patronize your business on a regular basis. And the key words to watch here is everything and on a regular basis, because what marketing is supposed to do is engage the consumer, right, through all the mediums that you have to communicate that message about your product or service and why they should buy from you. And once you capture their attention and once you get them in, you want them to be able to buy from you not just once, right, but to buy from you on a regular basis. So marketing, again, is a process. It's a set of strategies that come together with the customer in mind. And marketing should lead to sales. So I often ask during the trainings and the webinars that I'm invited to speak and that I do, I ask people, why did you start a business, right? And I get all kinds of answers. I want to make more money. I want financial freedom. I want to leave a legacy for my children and my family. I just want to capitalize on the growth or the demand over a particular industry. And in reality, those are all good, right? They're all good reasons why we should start a business. But in my opinion, that's just like the effect of being in business. That's kind of like the after product. That's the icing on the cake. The reality is that you go into business because someone out there has a need for the product or service that you have to offer, right? And because we know that there's someone out there that has this need, then we're going to create products that meet those needs, and we're also going to market our product or services around the life of those people that we want to attract. So this is really not about you. This is about the customer. This is about those consumers out there that need this particular product. So always, always remember that any type of marketing that you produce, any type of campaign that you produce, has to be with the customer in mind. And it should basically lead to sales. Marketing determines how you're going to package and brand your product, to appeal to the target audience. And it is a process that it's a long-term commitment that should never be seen as a one-time event. This is another one of those things that people fuss about, especially entrepreneurs who are a little bit, I guess, impatient because they're not getting the results they want right away. But in reality, marketing is something that you should do consistently and you should plan to do long term, right? You should be able to do your campaign, wait, do more, wait the results, do more, but never stop marketing. You take companies like Nike, Adidas, the big companies that have been established, they still do marketing, right? They still have huge multi-million-dollar campaigns. But why? If they're big and they're well known in the marketplace, why do they continue to do marketing, right? Why do they continue to spend millions of dollars on campaigns to the consumers that they already know them, right? And the reason for that is because this is an ongoing process. It's not something that you do today. You can't do, for example, a lot of people try Facebook posts, Instagram posts, they use their favorite social media, and they do a couple of posts, and then they don't get a result within, a week or 2 weeks, and then they stop doing it, and then they tell me, oh, well, Santos, I tried it, but I didn't get a result. I said, well, how long were you trying your marketing, right? How long were you putting those posts on? Did you boost your posts so that you can get more exposure? How much money did you spend, right? Because that has to do, especially in social media, it has to do with the number of people that will view your particular advertisement. And so again, the idea that marketing is a one-shot deal and that's all you do and then you wait for the money to come in is not realistic. That's just not going to happen. Marketing is a process. Marketing is something that you have to do consistently, continually, and you have to put emphasis because there's always consumers out there that are going to want to buy, and then there are those that are curious about what you have to offer. So while marketing promotes your product or service, and it is a communication tool to attract customers, marketing requires research to learn and communicate with customers, right? And that's another part that we're going to talk about and we're going to look into today. Both marketing and advertising must be in sync in order for sales to occur. Now, in the 70s, a group of professors, business professors, were looking at, what are some of the things that small businesses have in common? And, this is a group of professors from Harvard University, and they said, well, we just want to learn this dynamic that happens with small businesses. So they created what is called the marketing myth. Now, just another definition, the Business Dictionary defines marketing as the management process through which goods and services move from concept, right, from that idea into the customer. And it involves a process that is called the marketing mix, which includes the product, the place, the price, and the promotion. So again, I was telling you that this group of professors were looking at small businesses and what do small businesses have in common, right? So all businesses have a product. You have either a product or service that you sell. All of them. All of them have a product. All these products have a price, right? So it's not for free. There must be an exchange. So it could be a low price, it could be a high price. There is a price associated with that product. There's also the placement of that product. In other words, where do people have access to that product? Where do they engage with, the company to be able to buy, to transact, conduct that transaction so that they can take the product, they can buy it, and they can use it, right? So that's another characteristic that is found with all businesses. They have a product, they have a pricing strategy, they have a place or placement where businesses can be found, and then there's also the promotion. In other words, the strategy that attracts people, right, to the actual product itself. So these are what is known as the 4 Ps, and this is as basic as it will come, or as basic as you will learn in terms of the marketing mix. So the marketing mix comes together because you have to be able to identify what you want to sell or produce, and that's your product. You also have to determine how much you're going to charge people for that product, right? How much you're going to buy, how much are people going to pay for it, and that's the price. You're going to have to select distribution channels where people will have access to what you have, and that's the place or placement. And then you're going to develop a strategy to get people to want it, to come and get it, and that's your promotion. That's how the marketing mix comes together. You have a product with a price, selling it at a place through a specific promotion. However, there is more, right? So the four P's were the beginning of what professors at the university were looking at that these businesses have in common. But over the years, we've learned, right? We've learned that there's more than just product price, placement, and promotion. There is also the people, right? That you are that are involved in that company to sell that product, right? There's also a process that a company develops to get that product to the customer. There is a physical evidence or lack thereof for many products or services, right? So that's another piece. Another one is personalization, where you actually can customize things for customers. Then there's the participation, another piece that has become very popular in the last 20 years, where people actually are participants of the development of the product, and they give feedback, and then companies can then improve on those products. And then there's always the peer-to-peer, which is probably the most significant one in this day and age. So the role of marketing is to engage your consumers' mind with your company's or your brand so that a transaction becomes possible. Okay, that's really the role of marketing in the essence of it. You want to be able to turn consumers out there into customers. So everybody, all of us, we're all consumers of various products or services. But until you buy from a particular company, you don't become a customer, right? So what the idea with marketing is that you want to be able to engage consumers' minds so that they can come and buy from you, thereby becoming customers. Another role of marketing is to be able to generate those leads, right, into sales. So all your marketing campaigns create leads, right? And those leads, you want them to be able to turn into a monetary benefit, right, for your company. Another role of marketing is you want to personalize the customer's experience. And that's very popular nowadays, right, where people actually talk about the experiential factor in transactions. You know, you go, many people do weddings and they do destination weddings. Why? And that's a popular thing nowadays, right? Because it's the experience, it's you going out there to be able to have something different. So the same thing with marketing. You want to make sure that in terms of the role of marketing is to be able to personalize a customer's experience so that they can remember you, right? So that they can remember you. You become sort of like stamped in their head that you're the one that they should buy from. So in order for you to do all of this, there has to be some market research, right? So we cannot assume to know, like, oh, I know the people, I know the market, I know what they want, because people are complex, right? Individuals. And people don't have a lot of patience. You put out a marketing campaign, it can either turn on or turn off someone within seconds. So you want to make sure that you do some market research so that you can deliver the right message. And the market research really is a way to identify trends, right, within the market, right? Identify what are the things that are trending, what are the things that people are buzzing about, right? You want to be able to get some analytical report from the market that shows, right, tendencies. You want to be able to create a marketing plan so that you have a clear strategy as to how you're going to approach the customers or the consumers out there that will become customers. You want to do a SWOT analysis, which is another great tool to be able to look into the factors that are internal within your company and the factors that are out there that could hinder, right, or benefit your company. And just FYI, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so the first two, strengths and weaknesses, speak to the internal factors that are usually within your control, and the O and the T, opportunities and threats, speak to the external factors that usually are not within your control, but that you must be aware that they're there. Another way of doing market research is to do some sort of location analysis report so that you can identify how many people live in a specific region, how many businesses are within the same industry, your competitors. And this way you have a better sense of how you're going to create your marketing campaign and how you're going to be able to compete. You want to do a competitive analysis. Again, you're using some of that same information and you're creating a matrix to show people, listen, even though ABC company provides, this, that, and the other, I provide much more value because I address these other needs, right? And so you want to be able to create at least do the competitive analysis that will let you know what you're up against, one, and also in terms of the competition, but also it will give you insight into what is missing in the market itself. And you may be surprised to find that people are not getting service, or they may be going elsewhere or traveling far to get a particular service. This afternoon, in fact, earlier this afternoon, I had a meeting with someone, one of my clients here, who actually created a business out of another business, not his business, right? So there's this whole industry of landscapers and designers who, do all kinds of beautiful landscaping designs, and people that mow lawns and all of that. And he actually ran into a lawnmower that was thrown on the street, and he picked it up and tried to figure out what was wrong with it. He realized that he could actually make that a business, and he did. He turned this, idea of fixing lawnmowers into something that he could make money. He went around and he bought online, used lawnmowers, and now he markets himself to all of the lawnmowing companies. And usually this is a service that was not provided there, but because he saw the opportunity, and this is things that you can find out. You can do your own research, right, by doing observation, by talking to people, or you can go into the library, the Miller Business Center library, where they can help you with a lot of the research. You want to be able to identify who the target market is, because not everybody is going to be your customer. That's really important for you to know. I hear people say all the time to me when I ask them, who's your target customer? Who are you? Who's going to be your ideal buyer? And they tell me, well, anybody can buy. And in reality, that's not true. It's not for everybody. You should really have a specific target market in mind so that your campaigns are directed to those individuals that you want to reach. A campaign that is broad usually attracts no one, right? So it has to be very, very specific. If you are going into the international market, you should do an analysis of those domestic and international competitors. And of course, you want to do a price analysis to identify what people are willing to pay for the products or services that you have. So all of these things together are combined are market research. I want to pause here for a moment because I know I might be speaking a little bit fast, so I want to take a moment for any questions that they might be available. Any questions? Okay. So
people can also unmute if they have questions.
Okay. And I see, let's see, Silvana Diaz, you raised your hand. Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, how are you, Santos? Yes, so I have a question regarding market research. Are there any, I guess, like tools resources that you recommend we can start doing, where we can find some of this research?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I just mentioned, Silvana, I just mentioned the Miller Business Library. They are a tremendous resource for entrepreneurs and small business owners. They have access to tons of research, analysis, reports that all you have to do is, all you have to have really is the library card. Go there, you can go online, you can go in person, speak to one of the librarians and let them know, I have a business or I'm starting a business. I was told by Suffolk County Community College, the Entrepreneurship Assistance Center, that I can come here. They will be more than happy to provide you with assistance in getting the research. There's a lot of research online. I will tell you this, there's a lot of research online. It only takes a few seconds for you to type in on some Google or Bing or Yahoo search engine, what you want. But I feel that, more specific research and more accurate research is probably something the Business Library, the Miller Business Center can provide. And they can also do very specific research in terms of zip codes. Like they can pull up a zip code and say, in this zip code, there are X number of men, women, children, incomes, households. They can also pull up economic indicators. They can pull up research in terms of how much people pay, per year, per household for a particular goods or service. And that's something that the library can do. I will direct anybody and everybody to go there first, because that's actually, they pay your taxes. By the way, these are your taxes at play. These are the taxes of the citizens of Long Island in New York that pay for the library to be able to have. So it's yours. You just have to go there and get. I highly, highly recommend everybody to go there and get the research that they need. Again, it could be as much or as little as you need. It could be a price identifying type of research. In other words, how much are people willing to pay for a particular product or service. It could be a geographical, geolocational type of research where you want to identify within a specific region or area the number of people that are available, the number of companies that are available, so that you can do some analysis that will help with your business. Any other questions? Mary.
Yes, hi. Can you please repeat which library this was? Did you say Miller Business?
Yes. Let's see. Jennifer, if you're on the line, can you type that on the chat? I think it's the
It's called
it's
the Miller Business Resource Center in the Middle Country Library, and I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for your question, Mary and Silvana. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, so let's move on. Again, market research is the science behind every successful marketing company. Even big companies do market research. You would think, well, they have the money, they don't really have to spend. But in reality, every major company, before they launch a new product, they do market research. They actually investigate what people actually want, or how is it that they want it, or what quantity should they produce so that people can buy it. So market research is essential for any business, and I will say it is in many ways a do or die for small business owners. Because again, if you go with the mindset or with the idea that who your customer is, and you start putting marketing campaigns and all of this promotion just openly for anybody to get it, you're not gonna, it's like throwing a big net over the ocean and hoping you get some fish. You want to be very specific. That's why the most successful fishermen and women are those that go for specific catches, right? Because they know they study where the catch is, they study the sea, they study the way they study when is the season, and then they go and get it. Same thing applies for a small business. You have to know your audience. You have to learn when is the best time that you should sell, do a promotion for people to buy, and all of this stuff actually you learn through market research. So in market research, obviously there's the market information that you're going to get, the segmentation. You're going to learn about the different areas or segments of the market. You want to learn those trends, right? Those things that people are buzzing about. And specifically, you want to learn about your competition. So when you identify the target market, right? Remember, at the center of everything you do is your customer, right? Is that target customer. This is not about you. I'm going to say this over and over and over. This is not about you. You can start a business, but I'm going to tell you right now, 100% of the people are customers. 100%. 100. Okay, so you have to make sure that if you want your share of the pie, that you know who that customer is. You know their likes. You know what motivates them. You know what are their purchasing habits. You want to do that. You want to have that information, because the more you have, the better you're able to communicate with customers. The better you're able to communicate about what they need, right? So it's like meeting someone that say, you need this. But instead of saying, you need this, you say, look at this particular product that provides XYZ benefit. And because you know the customer, you've done your research, that customer that you're talking about, that specific product, right? And those specific features and benefits, they're going to connect, right? So people won't connect if there's no story, if there's no relationship to them. That's why it's extremely important that you take market research as one of the most important parts of starting a business and really launching new products. Knowing who is your customer and understanding what he or she needs and wants should be your highest priority. And this is really important because I heard someone online. I was watching some sort of motivational webinar, and the person that was doing the webinar, he said, you're either selling a vitamin or you're selling a painkiller. But you have to know who is the customer that needs the painkiller and who is the customer that wants the vitamin, right? Because people shop for different reasons. People shop because sometimes they want something, right? That's the vitamin people. They want something. And then there's those people that need something. That's the painkiller, right? And so you have to be able to understand whether your target market is the one looking for that vitamin or the one looking for the painkiller, okay? You want to know whether they live. You want to know what are their interests. You want to know how they perceive the world. That's really important, right? Because how they perceive the world will be related in the message that you're going to put out, okay? Shared values and interests usually align. So if you know your customer, if you know the customer, if you have created this profile of the people that you want to attract, then you will create a communication, a message that is going to resonate, with them. And that's going to build relationships. That's going to build engagement. That's going to bring people to your business, right? Because they see how you perceive the world, and how they perceive the world is a shared value, okay? So that's, again, understanding the customer and doing your research is important. So another thing, ask yourself, is your target a man, a woman, couples, LGBT, millennials, baby boomers, religious people, Black people, white people? Who are the customer? Identify them, right? You want to know the geographic, the sociographic, the demographic, the psychographic, and the behavioral patterns that all of these people within the target market have. What are the shared characteristics? Because even though we are all individuals, right? We're all people who have very unique likes and needs, but we also have a lot of things in common. And so when you are creating this marketing campaign, you want to appeal to those shared values. right? To those shared characteristics that the customer has so that you can attract them. You want to get some market information, learn as much as you can from the target market, okay, from that customer. Who is the customer? Where are they located? How do you contact them? Are they usually online? Are they usually people that read the newspaper? How much do they buy? Do they buy in large quantities? Do they usually go like a Sam's Club or Jetro or some of these retailers that sell in large quantities, or do they just like boutiques, smaller shops, smaller mom and pops, smaller general stores, right? Who are they and what is it that they like? What is the best time that you should be selling to them, right? And this is it's not necessarily like sell to them at 9 in the morning or 11 at night but in terms of a season, do you know, like when people have the urgency to shop? For example, we know, we're in April, we have Easter weekend coming up, right? So if you have your company already, right, and you wanted to promote something for people to buy during this season, you would have started your marketing campaign a month ago, right? Letting people know, hey, it's me, I have what you need, right? And then basically you look at the dates, the season, the holidays, you look at the times when people shop and when you're gonna make the most buck, right? So that you can create marketing campaigns to attract those people. But that's not something that you do at the last minute. I've had a lot of people say, I hear people actually, and I've had people say to me, Mother's Day is next week, and I'm going to start a campaign. I'm like, well, Mother's Day was a month ago, by the way, right? So you can't do like a promotion like overnight because people already spend their money. Really, people have already spent their money. So you want to be in terms of the time, you want to know when is the season and the time, the best time to sell. And you want to create a campaign and a calendar so that you can target people timely. The other thing is how much are people willing to pay, right? So there are people, as we know, even amongst our own circles of friends, even perhaps ourselves, I'm not willing to pay, more than $10 for this particular item, or I'm not willing to pay more than $30,000 for a car, for a vehicle, right? Know what is it that people are willing, what are those limits? And that's something that you can find out through market research at the library, okay? Because part of that research is that consumer research is telling you how much people actually spend. And that should be your guide to be able to move, to be able to promote at the price that they're willing to pay. There's market segmentation. Again, market segmentation is the division of the market or population that is in subgroups. And these subgroups usually have similar motivations. And these motivations can be geographic, personality, demographic, the use of products, and psychographic. Okay? So here's some demographic examples: marital status, income, education, occupation, gender, spending habit, use of free time. What is it that people do when they're not working? What do they do? So you want to know about that because these are ways in which you can connect to that target audience. You want to learn about the trends and the competition. Market trends basically is the direction of the market, whether it's going up or down, right? Market trend is also a way of figuring out what are the buzz. What is the buzz about, right? There's usually a new buzz every quarter or every season. You hear people drawing into a particular area because there's a buzz, right? The latest buzz is, right? So you hear that all the time. So market research helps you understand what those trends are. And also, it helps you understand who is the competition. Get to know who they are. Who is doing similar service? How are they doing it? What sets you apart from them? And what will set you apart, right, from the company? So you may be doing things that are similar, but what are you doing that your competition is not, right? So those are things that you learn through market research. Before we continue, I'd like to make a quick brief stop here and ask people if there's any questions. Meryl, your hand is up. Is that from before or is that a new question? Okay, I guess it's from before. If you have questions, again, raise your hand or unmute yourself and feel free to ask. So let's talk a little bit about the effect that marketing should have. So marketing is thinking beyond the product, right? Beyond the price, beyond the placement, and beyond the promotion. Marketing is creating a desire, a want, a gotta have it psychological feeling, right? So that people can actually, look for those things that you have to sell. That's what marketing does. It's really to entice people. There's a company actually called Chico's, who's in the market space. And they actually have a really good strategy that they do limited number of their clothing. And their market, the people that usually shop there, they know this. So they have created a demand, right, with their customers. So the customers know that whenever they walk into a Chico store, if they see a blouse or they see a top or a particular garment that they like, they better get it then because it might not be available again because the company actually doesn't buy or doesn't produce in mass for certain items. And so that's kind of like the idea with marketing or the effect of marketing. You want to have that live in people's minds, that feeling that they want to have it right now. Let me buy it, okay? So you want to know what are people's needs and what are people's wants, right? So while sales is responsible for customers' transactional relationship, that's sales. You come to the store, right? You pick up something and you say, well, I like this, I'm going to pay for it, right? That's a transaction. So sales is responsible for the transaction, the relationship, right? That transactional relationship. Marketing is responsible for attracting the customers that would become, attracting the consumers that will become customers. So marketing attracts people, sales creates the transaction. Okay, two different things. So this is achieved through a series of enticements. Again, these enticements, they speak to the needs and wants of people, and thereby it creates a demand. So what's the big deal? You're in business because there is a need out there. If people didn't need or want what you sell, then there's no point of having a business. So ask yourself, what purpose or need does my business fill? How will I get them to pay attention and notice my business? What features and benefits does my product serve or service offer? And who exactly is my target market? Is it a business? Is it consumers? Or is it government? Right? Because you could be doing business with either or. Or you could be doing business with multiple, right? You could be doing business with other business and consumers. You can be doing business with the government and with other businesses, okay? But really you want to know who is that ideal customer. So one of the things that often people confuse is branding and marketing. Branding is a function or part of marketing, but it has a distinctive role in marketing, right? So everything that you do to promote your business leads to branding. I give you some examples on the right side of your screen of this presentation of name brands that you can easily, right, recognize. Starbucks, M&M, Lacoste, Adidas, Campbell's, Louis Vuitton. So these are brands, these are companies, right, that that for over the years have shown the consumers, right, have shown consumers that they're reputable companies, that they're here to stay, that they have a unique selling proposition to what they do. right? So in branding, everything that promotes your business leads to branding. Branding must be consistent. You've never seen the McDonald's arches in blue or in hot pink. They're always gold and yellow. Okay? So the branding, the look of it always is consistent. Branding also reinforces the message. Because when you look, let's say here, the M&M, look at the M&M logo. What comes to your mind when you see the M&M? Chocolate, happiness, right? Peanuts, the little cartoons, right? So there's all of these associations. All of those things are meant to reinforce the message. Okay? The message of your company. Branding basically sets the tone for the company's identity and image. Sets the tone for the company's identity and image. I want to talk a little bit about that in a moment. So brand identity is how you present your product to the public. It includes the type of packaging or benefits, the communication, the services, it's that promise. That's your brand identity. So if you can see by the image on the screen, brand identity is your logo, the language or communication that you use. Your mission is part of your brand identity. The type of culture is part of that identity. The design elements, the colors, all of that, right? That's your promise. You're always going to be that. You're always going to be that. So when people see your brand, your logo, your communication, they're going to immediately recognize, right? That's you, okay? That's identity. So another way of looking at of understanding identity is, if you look at your driver's license, right? If you were just pull up your driver's license or your passport, it has a picture of you, right? That identifies you. If you look at the driver's license, it also has other identifying factors about you, like your address, the color of your eyes, your height, just whether you're an organ donor, right? All of those things identify who you are, right? But none of those things says anything about who you are, really. It just identifies who you are. And that's where branding is very unique in marketing, because branding is about creating not just the identity that you want people to see, but it's also about the image that you want people to keep of your company. And that image, right, is in the perception. That image is built on the value that you bring to customers. That image is built on the awareness that you have in the marketplace. And so in a way, again, when in the example of the driver's license, you can see that Santos is 5'10". I live in Tampa, Florida. I'm an organ donor, right? There's a picture of me. Not a very good picture, but it's a good picture of me there. So people can, if I drop dead anywhere, they'll pick up the idea and say, oh, well, this guy's name was Santos. That's the identity. They will never know by picking up that driver's license that I'm a funny guy, that I have grandkids that I love to death, that I love spending time by the beach and sunsets, that I'm charismatic, that I love with a passion to help entrepreneurs build their companies and their brands, that they're not going to know the things about me, because the driver's license can never say that, right? But if you get to know, if you have had a relationship with me, if we have been in the same room, you will then begin to create an image of me. You will then begin to say, Santos is more than just a 5'10" guy who is an organ donor, right? Because once you meet me, you begin to see who I really am. You begin to see by sharing stories that I'm a storyteller. And you will begin to see that I have a somewhat of a dry sense of humor and a little perky, and I'm a nerd. And those things are the image of Santos, right? That's how you're going to remember. In a way, you want that to be always present, always. So it's not just about having a nice business card, but what about the relationship? What about the experience, right? What about that transaction, that moment when you actually handed the cash or the credit card to the salesperson? Did that transaction in any way help improve how you felt about that company, how you view that company? How was the customer service? Did the customer service help build the image of your brand, right? Of your company. So again, brand image are the associations that your brand evokes in the consumer's mind. You meet me, you start talking to me, we start getting to know each other. Immediately in your head, you're going to create associations about Santos. Keep in mind that consumers, they don't buy products. They buy the image. They buy what the product can do for them, right? That's really what people, the brands are a reflection. Brands are a reflection of people's lives. Brands are a reflection of people's needs. And so keep that in mind as you're creating your marketing campaign, right? Identity is how you want to be seen. Image is actually how you are seen. If you were after this workshop, right, tell someone about this Santos guy that was doing the workshop, then you had already a perception and you will remember certain things about the presentation. So that's image. And that's really important because image can be destroyed in a heartbeat. Identity lasts a long time. Okay? Think of it in your own personal life. How you have worked so hard for something and then in the blink or in a few minutes, someone comes in and destroys it. They didn't destroy, right, the identity of what you created. They destroyed the image, right? So you want to make sure that you protect that image, you safeguard that, and that you build it, right? Protect it, safeguard it, and build it. So let me stop here for a moment and ask if there are any questions from the participants. At this point, any questions? No questions. Okay. So hopefully no one went to sleep. Let's see. So promoting your brand. Know the right audience. That's the who. Know what the right message is. That's the what. What is your offer? What are the benefits? What is the proof that you have? What is the call to action that you're telling people, right? Know when is the right time, right? Make sure that you are frequent and consistent in that delivery. Know where is the right place, the location, the season, the place, right? And then don't forget how much. How much has to do with budget. So when you're thinking about building a brand, when you're thinking about starting a company, and you're here contemplating, what are the things that I should really, focus on? I would say marketing is probably the one thing that you want to spend a lot of time and enough money, right, so that your business can get the exposure that it needs. Because first of all, no one knows you. Who are you? Here you come. right? So that's what people say when a new business starts. Oh, how nice. Who are they? So what do they do? Nobody knows you. So you really have to start spending, investing in your marketing. You have to start spending money into making sure that people know who you are. You have to spend money in making sure that your image is built, that your identity looks good, right? So all of those things take money. So that's why it's really important too, as you are thinking about developing your brand, growing your business, or launching a business, that you pay attention to these things. And I would say, people have asked me this 100 times, if not more. How much? How much should I spend in my marketing? And I would say spend as much as you can, right? In fact, I would even say spend, 20, 30% of your budget in marketing. And even though that may seem like a high number, 30% of my budget, if I have 10,000 to start my business, you want me to spend 3,000 in marketing? Yes, because people don't know who you are. So you have to tell people, this is me, this is me, this is me, hey, this is me, this is me. You have to be consistent, and that takes money, right? So you have to consistently invest in the company, in your marketing, so that people can then begin to get a sense of, oh, well, let me see what this guy is all about, right? Let me see what this boss is all about with this new company that just started, right? And then once you get them in, right, through the marketing, then you begin to work on the branding, because branding is not marketing. Remember that. When people tell me, oh, I'm building a brand, I say, yeah, what are you doing? Where are you selling? What is the hook, right? And they barely can answer that. So you don't build a brand like, because you have a logo, because you have a website. You build a brand when you start delivering on the promises that your business said it will deliver on, right? You offer quality service, so as soon as you start delivering quality service, you're building a brand. As soon as you are delivering on that message, right? As soon as people are interacting with you, as soon as people begin to, visit you and have an experience with you, you're building your brand. Everything else has been just creating the identity. Looking good, looking pretty, your business card, your website, all of that is great. All of that is needed, right? But what is more important is that relationship, that engagement that you're going to have with people. If you want followers for life, if you want repeat customers, if you want people that are loyal to you and don't go anywhere, if you want people that act like your ambassadors, then build relationships. Build a company around understanding what customers want, around understanding the needs of those customers that you're targeting. Because in reality, that is the most basic element of marketing, to know your customer, to put together something that is going to be welcome, not necessarily because the other store is closed today and you are open. Sometimes that's great because then you use that as an opportunity. But because you have created a relationship, because you have delivered on your promise. So again, at the basic, when we talk about marketing 101, back to basics, this is it. The most basic part of being in business is really understanding who the customer is really understanding what the customer wants. It's really understanding that you have an opportunity to please other people, right? To give something. And what a wonderful thing. This is wonderful. Wonderful that you have something that people want or need. And they're going to pay you. They're going to give you their wallet. So wouldn't it make sense that if people are willing to pay for something, that you deliver, right, on that promise, that you deliver on that message that you say, who you say you are, that experience is 100% the best experience that person had with you or any other company. Because the only way that companies survive and will continue to survive as we go into more, more of the technological advances, the only way they're going to survive is through the relationship that businesses make with customers. So with that said, I'm going to end here, and I'm going to ask for maybe any questions. Any questions? Jennifer?
No, the questions are clear right now.
Okay, then take it away. I'm done for tonight. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for waiting for me after this emergency. I swear, I just couldn't believe I was like sweating bullets. The one time, I'm always with my cell phone. The one time I didn't have my cell phone, so I do apologize. And thank you so much for your patience. Please, please, please stay connected with Suffolk County, the Entrepreneurial Assistance Center. There's a really good group of people here that care about small business. There's a group of people that are committed to helping small businesses succeed. And we have a lot of connections. That's the other thing. So you don't have to do this alone. Talk to one of our great staff and support it. And let us be your partner in this journey. Thank you so much. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.